All right, folks. So in this part of the video, we're going to be going over the lives functionality of my little side scroller game here. Just a quick setup real quick. As you can see right here, I've added a new sprite that I call Live Sprite. So this is going to basically help the user stay informed of how many lives they've had. And it's kind of the graphic representation of my variable. So right here in costumes, you can see I just added 3 simple numbers as images and then a win icon right here that we'll use later. But right here in scripts, I have it to a simple reset function where it says when I receive the reset broadcast, I want to go to -220 and Y165, which is again just right up here. And then I shrunk it a little bit because it was too large. And then I have it go to third costume because that is the one that denotates 3 lives, right? So if I go to click reset, you can see it goes right there, and that's perfect. So another thing that I did was created a variable right here called dog lives, and that's basically the number of lives that my dog has. Here I've set it to 3, and I've added that to the very beginning, so it initializes dog lives to the number that I want, right? To keep track of our lives and determine what happens if I hit something, or kind of keep track of my main character and add that functionality, I have created this, this custom block right here called lives 2. And what we want to do in lives 2 is basically check if we're doing something that would lose a life and then send messages based on what's happening, right? So to do that, I go to control. I want to basically check 2 main if conditions I'm checking right now are going to be if I hit the Walda sprite at the very end, our enemy sprite, or if I fall into the gap on our second stage. So I'm going to set those up. The first condition, I simply want to check if I am touching the moving enemy. I want to change our dog lives. So I'm going to go to change, wherever it may be, change dog lives by -1. And then I also want to reset. So I want to have my sprite go to a main position on the stage. I want to keep on the same stage, but I just want to, kind of set it to a nominal position. So here, I want to have it set on the far left of the stage, so it has to restart it. And I'm going to change this to -130 and -200. Now, one thing you want to keep in mind that's really important is I noticed here when I was testing my scripts is that if I put these blocks in a different order, usually what would happen is that I would lose multiple lives, typically by the time that we actually went back to a reset position. So say if I fell down, I would lose 2 lives by the time that the code brought me back to the top. Now, of course, that may just be the particular design pattern I'm using being incorrect, but I believe that was why it was giving me some issues. So I'm going to go ahead and duplicate that right there and set it in this other block. And this other block is going to check and see if my Y position is too far down to be a valid Y position anymore. So here I'm going to bring this in. I'm going to go to motion for my dog sprite and find the Y position. And I'm going to say if the Y position is less than -200, which I think is significantly far down enough, I'm going to, again, go to -200, Y -130, and change dog lives by 1. So another thing that I want to do in here is I want to have it, I'm going to click OK real quick. I'm just going to show this off for a second, and I'm going to display my dog lives variable just so you can see what's going on. Right, as we can see, my dog lives variable decreased, and I reset. Now if I go all the way and I hit Walda, you can see I reset right here. So I'm going to go ahead and click stop. The next thing I want to do is set up something that will change my different icons. So I'm going to use broadcast, and I'm actually going to pull this down. I'm going to check some if conditions once again. So I'm going to say if dog lives, so that's what I want to check is that variable. I'm basically going to see if dog lives is greater than 1. By the time that happens, I want to broadcast a message to change. Actually, you know what? I don't know how exact I have to make this, but I just want to do it like this to make it a little bit easier for the video. If dog lives is equal to 3, and actually, nope, you know what? If dog lives is equal to 2 after we change, I want to broadcast a message to show 2 lives. Click OK. Put that broadcast message right here, and I'm basically going to do the same thing, duplicate it, Nope, pull that right out. If dog lives is equal to 1, I'm going to show 1 life. Right there. And then I'm going to duplicate this. That'll make my life very easy. Set that right there. If I click OK, we can see here, I go to my live sprite, and I basically just want to check and see if I'm getting those messages. So here I go to show 2 lives, show 1 life, and then have it change to costume 1 if I show 1 life, and 2 if I have 2. Nope, that was reset. That was incorrect. Change it right here. Now, before I continue, I want to say there's something important. Actually, I'm going to go ahead and show this. There you can see my number has changed to 2. And now if I go all the way to the right and I hit Walda, my number has changed to 1. Now, before I continue, I think one thing that's going to make this project look really good if you wanted to is to have the function right here. If I go back to my main character and go to lives 2, is have it use a custom block function for our parts right here. I'm going to leave that out just so you can kind of get creative with your own scripts, but I think that would make your project look a lot better if you did use that. So that is how we use the lives functionality. We're going to kind of cover later on how we choose, or how we show a losing or winning condition, sort of using this same functionality. Okay, everyone, so we are just about to finish the Unit 3 project. I've added a few things in between the cut. Here you can see I have a sprite that I'm going to call the, if I can click on it, the goal of the game. So basically this game, or this target, is going to set up if it if the sprite's on that final scene of the entire game, it's going to pop up, and the whole goal of the game is for the sprite to finally hit that, and then they'll win the game. I've set that up. It's just a simple bullseye sprite, and it says when I receive third scene, I basically want to go to a position, and there I set it to go back a layer just because I didn't want it in front of the other pieces of the screen. So I'm also going to say when I say reset, I want all this to go away, and I want to hide the sprite. So here we're going to go find hide. When I receive reset, I want to hide. When I receive third scene, I want to show, just in case if it was not, already showing before. And then of course, also I want to change this to also say if I receive second scene, I want to hide. Because of course, if we're at the very end, we could go backwards and receive the second scene. If someone hits reset, we want it to go away, and so on and so on. So here, if I click play one more time, we can see that that goal target only shows up if I'm at the very end. If I go backwards, it disappears, right? So I'm going to go ahead and reset, stop. Now the question is, how do I check that my character has hit the end? Well, I'm going to hit my main character, and I personally want to add this to my lives portion. I just kind of feel like lives is a good place to put it, to sort of check that end condition. But actually, you know what, for the sake of the video, let's go ahead and do a new block. So I'm going to do a new block called goal, and I'm going to click enter. And then I'm going to make it so that goal is checking to see if I'm touching that end sprite. So I go to control, I use an if block, and we say if we are touching that end sprite, simply end the game. That's basically going to be what we're doing. So change that to goal. I'm going to change my looks. Actually, I'm going to broadcast a message that is called, we're going to say win. That's going to be the name of our broadcast. And I'm also going to basically stop everything. So I'm going to say, actually, you know what? I don't want to stop everything. I'm just going to keep it as is. Click OK. For touching goal, we want to broadcast win. And then how I'm going to show that win is going right here. I'm going to say, when I receive that message, I want to change to my win. I want to go to, let's say 100% for now, and we're going to go to 0, 0, and then of course we want to change when I receive to win. So now if I click, you can see that shows up right there in the middle. And that's pretty much all there is to the win condition. You can see if I start, it goes to 3, and I don't have to worry about, doing anything weird. Here, I can't jump over Walda until she moves. So as soon as I hit the target, or I should be coming into contact with it, but for some reason it's not checking. So I'm going to go back to my dog. I'm going to find where I know why it's not doing it. It's because it's not included in the program. So if I go ahead and start one more time, go, and then we're going to wait for Walda to move. And you can see we win. There we go. One thing I'm going to do real quick is I'm going to go to my win sprite, and I'm going to put it right here. So when I receive the win condition, I want to execute all this code, and then I want to basically stop everything. So I'm going to go down, find stop all, slot it right there. Go ahead and click stop, start. Here we're going to test it one more time. I basically want everything in the code to quit because the user has won. You can see now if I'm pressing left and right, the dog cannot do anything. So I'm going to go ahead and just put it back at the very beginning. I want to save, and I need to add one more thing, which is what happens when we run out of lives, right? So I'm going to go to my main character, and I'm going to go to the lives module, because that's where of course I have the code that checks and sees if I have lost a life and resets me. If that is not true, I'm going to, if basically we don't have any lives left, if life is 1 and we've changed it, or if life is 2, I want the dog to, I want the whole game to end, right? So I'm going to go to control. I'm going to actually copy these right here because that is very useful to me. Again, this is another really good case for where a command block or just any type of custom block would have been really useful, but I just want to show you how I'm doing this. So here I say if dog lives equals 0, I want to broadcast new game over, click OK. And I'm just going to actually duplicate that, bring it down here, get rid of this other broadcast, click OK. And then I'm going to go to the live sprite one more time. I'm going to duplicate this. Of course, I want to set size to 100, switch to costume, game over. Actually, yep, switch to costume, game over. And of course, check if game is over and stop everything. Simple as that. So real quick, I'm just going to go ahead and demo what we've done. So if I move to the right, if I jump down, fall down this pit, if I get hit by Walda once and I go back, you can see I actually win, which doesn't make a whole lot of sense. We should be completely out of lives, but you know what? It's probably because I hit that, hit the goal at the very end. I'm going to try one more time. If I fall, if I fall, if I fall, you can see we go ahead and display that game over screen. And so this is pretty much the end of Unit 3 project. Now, I'm going to show a demo video in a little bit, and I'm going to kind of go over the end and the end product and kind of what it means. I would highly recommend that you watch that just to get some final thoughts on the project. But thank you guys very much for watching this video series. Please leave a like and comment and give me any feedback you have in the comments. I greatly appreciate it.